We are back in the world of Pike and Shot Total War, guys, and we have a glorious 2v2 here as we have the HRE facing off against the Kingdom of Sweden in this one, and we have some Jaegers here very, very close to the Swedish spawn as, yeah, they have clearly deployed very early on. They're going to try and, I guess, pin in these Swedish forces here. But we have got cavalry already rushing out. Looks like they're going to try and deal with these, I don't know what these are, these Croatian cavalry, I guess, here. My gosh, and yeah, they're going to focus these guys on breaking them immediately. And look at this. This is a bit of a sort of a spawn camp. And yeah, we'll see whether this strategy works here for the HRE. They're setting in musketeers. By the looks of it, already are the Swedes here as they try to break these Jaegers. And they should do, I would imagine, just overwhelm them. We have some mercenary arquebusiers here of the Swedes as well now pushing across. And it looks like the Swedes are maybe also looking at other crossings as well as an option. Whether they can cross just anywhere on this river or whether it is, I think, maybe just... I think it may be just by that this one bridge here, which if that is the case, yeah, this poor Swedish army is kind of trapped until they can break out there. And yeah, it looks like the other Swedish army over here is also marching to assist. So it looks like we've got 3 pounders over here. We've also got some Zeri mercenary, German mercenary musketeers, and some various other pikes moving in that direction. But yes, it's great to be back in the world of Pike and Shot. I do love this mod for Shogun 2 Total War. If you haven't checked it out, it really is glorious. It adds a whole bunch of, well, obviously new units and factions and a whole new era that you can play in Total War. An era that, you know, I feel like we haven't yet to see in a mainline Total War title. And yeah, I would like to maybe see a Pike and Shot, like, standalone Total War. Whether we'll get one, I don't know. But if not, this is the closest we're going to get to one. That is for sure. And you can already hear the shots going off. We've got the Croatian, yeah, skirms already just, you know, being an irritant. And it looks like we've also got some Polish bow cav as well being annoying. But yeah, these skirmish cav units here already going off the red line there, and they will not be returning, even though they're fairly healthy, still 88 out of 100 there. Another thing to note as well for this battle, behind the HRE there is an annoying Swedish factor as well. So the Swedes have also got some of their own Jaegers, Cracks, the Jöskata. I definitely butchered that name. I do apologize to any Swedish viewers. But yeah, anyway, Cracks Jaegers here. They're in the back lines. I guess they can try and annoy Pappenheim, maybe try and shoot him, or maybe shoot some of these cuirassiers. They're in the back lines as well. So we'll see whether they can do any annoying stuff there. They might put some stakes up as well, just to, you know, try and bait in some cav, and then end up just, you know, spearing a cuirassier on a stake line. That would be pretty good. More cavalry regiment here. Looks like they got routed by the Polish cav of the HRE. Yeah, Sweden getting caught in his spawn early on. This is not so great. I don't know where the rest of this army is going. Ah, you can cross over here. There is a crossing. The Swedes have found some of their cuirassiers are crossing over here. So yeah, so the Swedes have found another way out, even though the spawn trap has kind of been finished and dealt with here. Yes, the Swedes here have got their arquebusiers now set up, and they're going to use those to sort of screen off the rest of the advancing Swedish armies. They get into position. You can see more sort of cavalry regiment getting ready. These guys have probably got rifles of their own as well, muskets, I should say, of their own that they can use to bring into play. We've also got some more German mercenary arquebusiers here as well, getting ready. So yeah, this is usually how sort of like cav fights go down. They often have a bit of a line fight each, and then they then charge in amongst each other. A general under attack? Whose general is under attack? I don't know. Maybe this one here? Maybe Saxe Weimar, maybe? I'm not sure. It could be... Might be the one over here. I don't know. It could be Pappenheim. I'm not quite sure which perspective we're looking from. I think we're looking from the HRE perspective, but I could be wrong. It might be from the Swedish perspective. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, and then we can see over here, it looks like the Swedes are pretty much now across. As you can see, the last couple of units are arriving with some more cavalry regiment, and dragoons arriving as well, which is like a dismounted infantry unit. They're not like an out-and-out cav unit like they are in NTW3. They are actually dismounted infantry like they are historically supposed to be. We've got more dragoons here as well. Speaking of, getting ready on the left flank, and it looks like they're going to be dismounting soon to deal with these arquebusiers. There's also a general here, Heinrich Hulk, so I presume that's the left hand, or I guess from their perspective, the right hand general of the HRE. Looks like these Dragoons aren't going to stick around. Looks like they're going to get out of here. They're definitely probably the weaker of the two of these cav units if it came to a melee fight. Harquebusiers can kind of be used as a bit of a out-and-out cav unit. And the general as well, Heinrich Kolk. You know, these generals are actually pretty strong in melee if they need to be. But yeah, they are kind of baiting this force here away. And there's a lot more cavalry over here, a lot of German mercenary ratiers getting ready as well. And it looks like there's even more like cavalry regiment, stuff like back here. We've got Gustav Horn, their general, for Sweden on the left flank. He's waiting with the cav. So, I mean, if this cav keeps advancing here, the Harquebusiers, it could be an easy kill for Sweden very shortly. But yes, these battles are definitely pretty long, pretty excellent sort of like battles. Very, you know, they go on for a little while, put it like that. It's definitely worth getting yourself some snacks, get yourself some drinks, get yourself settled and prepared for some pike and shot bloodshed. And yeah, these battles are on a huge scale as well, which is what's so great. Even in a 2v2, this will be like sort of maybe 10 to 15,000 men, if not more probably. I mean, look at the size of these pikes units, like 300-man units here. The musketeers are like all like 180 typically. So there's big units here, and already we have another few shots going off here. The Croatians already blasting away, actually destroying an entire artillery unit here. That is pretty devastating to see. Poor Swedes there, they just, lost an entire artillery piece. I don't know how expensive the artillery is, but it's still pretty costly. Artillery is a really good, like, morale sort of unit. And again, they're targeting more 3-pounders here. Looks like with Polish bow cav and also some more Croatian sort of like Harquebusiers. And look at that, look at the shots going off, already wavering and routing that unit there. That is yeah, pretty deadly. And you'd have thought the Swedes now need to start reacting to this. They're going to start shooting some shots themselves, some of the musketeers here trying to respond. And looks like the artillery is going to try and set up, but I don't think it's going to get any shots off. The HRE here are probably going to strike and finish this this artillery off once and for all. Just needs a couple more volleys of bows and maybe another shot from the Croatians. That should probably rout them. But there you go, the bow cav actually now wavering as well. The shots from the musketeers here doing enough to rout them. So, you know, it's going to cost them a bit, the HRE. And then that one as well, to be honest. Look at that. The musketeers there blasting away. And they might rout the Croatian cav. And the Poles have returned just immediately as they routed. But, you know, once you rout once, your cavalry's never usually as good the second time. And there you go. The Croatians also routing. And yeah, that is pretty costly there. And, you know, this 3-pounder is going to survive. It's going to cost the HRE, it looks like 2 cav units pretty much. It looks like in the back lines as well, we do have the HRE now dueling with those Swedish Jaegers. And it looks like, yeah, the German mercenary Harquebusiers just blasting away. I mean, 4 versus 2, I'd imagine the Jaegers are probably going to lose out in that fight. But you never know. If they put up some stakes as well, it could be a real pest there. Imagine the Jaegers have a slightly better range, the Harquebusiers. But how accurate either side is, I don't know. Yeah, looks like the Harquebusiers. I mean, if they just run down those Jaegers, that would be an easy enough job. Over on this side here, already the HRE going in pretty strong, really early on here. We've got pikes going in without pikes up, and it looks like they're dueling with musketeers. So, I mean, that's fine for the musketeers. No pikes getting their advantage in rain there. We've got cav in here as well, as we have cuirassiers charging in. It looks like already we have got some cuirassiers here for the, looks like for the Swedes breaking. It looks like on the flank here, looks like the Swedes are losing this fight. The Dragoons are being defeated. But here comes more cavalry now for the Swedes to try and back that line up. But yeah, lots and lots of pikes being thrown in here. It looks like most have their pikes apart from these initial ones that went in. But here comes more pikes and cuirassiers backing these guys up. And the mercenary rates here breaking. It looks like, and also the musketeers still like they're starting to shatter as well in a lot of areas. German races there breaking. We have got Gustav Horn on the front line now. This is not good to see for Sweden. They don't want their general in this early. It's a decent unit, like the bodyguard holds for a pretty long time. You don't want to be seeing him in a combat this early on. I don't think he's going to be able to beat multiple units of cuirassiers here. It looks like the Swedes are sort of defeating the HRE. Maybe a little bit here. You can see some of the Harquebusiers starting to be routed. This is a 3v1. This is surely going to go in favor of the Swedes, I would imagine. Whether they can win that cav fight and then turn it around and help on the flank. But Sweden certainly seems like he's been caught out here. HRE has smashed on hard here with a lot of troops as he's stretched out the rest of his army elsewhere. And it looks like the HRE are going to try and use that to try and then like smash this corner and then work their way down the line if they can. Looks like the HRE is coming forward here with pikes as well. Sweden with their Grona musketeers here going to have to start blasting away soon and try and you know, do some significant damage. These guys already wavering them as well as they take about 60-odd losses. Gustav Horn still in melee and he's struggling. He's not lost a man though, but he is trying to run out of melee quite quickly. And we've got Heinrich Holk here, the HRE general. He's also trying to support his cav fight here. That the Torpedo Dragoons and the cavalry regiment for Sweden are looking like they're winning. And it looks like they're going to win this fight here as well, are the Swedes, as they beat these, looks like these Piccalamini, Harkebusier unit there. But the infantry is the real big coup d'etat here for the HRE. They managed to break through with their pikes. It looks like they're going to rout this pike unit here as well for the Swedes. I mean, they're getting around behind it. As soon as you get behind a pike unit in Pike and Shot, it's pretty much over for it. They don't mind enemies in front of them, but behind them, that's a big no-no. You can see wavering there already. 184 of 126, and they break. And yeah, that is a catastrophe there. Get Gustav back. Get him out of there. He cannot stick around. The cav here for Sweden has one. Whether they can turn that around, attack Heinrich Holk here, try and maybe get some kills on him. I mean, a volley on him would be pretty devastating. I imagine that he'd take casualties if he shot in point-blank range or not. He also has yellow morale, to be honest, right now. He's not green. So that could also be a way you break. You try and destroy the HRE army there. You try and break the morale of the general, because morale is pretty key. We've got the charge in the back lines here, killing those Jaegers off, so that should be them pretty much gone by looks of it. The Jaegers are trying to run, but it looks like they're kind of surviving, actually. It looks like they're not really taking losses at all. We've got artillery here on the flanks for the HRE's 4-pounders here, firing across the lake into the side of these musketeers, doing a lot of good damage. Looks like the Dragoons trying to help out, trying to snipe those 4-pounders, having no real joy at the moment. The Jaegers also look like they're sort of surviving at the moment. But yeah, Sweden being much more aggressive over here, while the HRE is being a lot more defensive. But on this side, yeah, HRE is going in hard on the Sweden, and the Gustav Horn and his flank here is really struggling. But they might be able to, you know, maybe able to get Heinrich Holk. We'll see. It could be a race to who kills whose general first. Looks like the HRE is winning that race right now. Who's the other general? Who have we got here? Bernard, yeah, Saxe Weimar, of course. We mentioned him earlier. Then we have Pappenheim, of course, as well as the other one. I already had forgotten who we had. Gustav again trying to get out of here. I don't think he's dead just yet. No, he's just fine. Hover over the other units. Looks like there's some firing whilst in melee going on. I think that's from Sweden, actually, as they shoot these pikes in point-blank range. It might be doing damage to their own pikemen as well. And as you can see, it looks like these light cav units here are going to go in behind. They're going to try and rout these Swedish units here, and they already are routing. They don't even need the hammer and anvil action to take place. They're just getting routed by the pikes in the front. And now they're going to be able to farm these guys if they want to here, the HRE. And yeah, the Swedes winning the cav fight, which is great for them, but the infantry are just getting wrapped up right now. Like I said, they've really got to get Heinrich soon if they want to try and turn this around. Also doesn't help. Oh, the Torpedo Dragoons are supporting. They're trying to cover. But, I mean, these bodyguard are covered like in armor. These are like some heavily armored boys. And he's combat even. He's only lost 7 riders so far because the Torpedo Dragoons trying to help, trying to keep these Jaegers at bay. Looks like also the cavalry regiment here needs to go in, try and get rid of these cuirassiers if they want to try and, you know, re-establish their dominance on that left flank with cav. There's a huge amount of cav here in the center for the Swedes. It looks like it's going to get committed soon in a mass charge. I mean, they might need it on the left to try and stabilize there. Looks like the HRE as well have a decent amount of cav their own here as well. Like a lot of cuirassiers. Yeah, lots of cuirassiers actually. These are all cuirassier units here. Wow. Oh, no, these are Piccalamini, but these are pretty heavily armored arquebusiers, as you can see. They look like knights. But yeah, they've got, it looks like 7 or 8 cuirassier units, and then a fair amount of arquebusiers there as well. They're going to maybe need to keep their cav here as well, the Swedes, to try and match up against that. Gustav Horn, has he got out? I don't... Oh, no, he might have just about 25 out of 40. He might have just stabilized a little bit. Looks like the HRE maybe overstretched himself a little bit. Seems like Sweden's still in sort of one piece. He maybe needs to turn a few more units to face this oncoming threat of the HRE, which still has a decent amount of pikes here that are sort of like reorganizing. Also musketeers as well. But it looks like did Heinrich die? I think Heinrich's been maybe routed. Yeah, I can't see him. I don't think he's dead. I think he's been routed, but I can't see his general, so like marker anyway. That's always a bad sign. And there you go, Croatian cav being routed there. Looks like, yeah, they might have been in a bit of trouble here. I think they the cav over there is maybe trying to run him down. So I think this HRE army is without a general. Yeah, Pappenheim's still alive, but I can't see Heinrich. The line fight's now getting underway here for the Swedes. Looks like they're going to try and just batter their way through with musketeers. We'll see whether this works. Looks like they're taking a fair few losses of their own here. A good trade from both sides. A good line fight is getting underway here. Yes, if you want to send in any of your own replays, whether it's a Pike and Shot one or whether it's another Total War replay, feel free to send it into my Discord. The link is down below in the description. You're more than welcome to send it in. I'll try and check it out, whether it's, Rome 2, a TDD, or whether it's 12-12 or a Pike and Shot. I'll try and cover it if it's a pretty epic one. Just let me know what the mods are and stuff like that, and I'll do my best to cover it. As you can see here, Scots regiment. The Scots are now going in for Swedes. They're, I think, one of the better units for the Swedes. Hamilton Scots regiment always seems to do that. Like last, very low numbers. They seem to fight on pretty hard. Going up against some of the Pappenheim infantry here. I mean, these guys are fighting for their general, who's present in today's battle. I feel like Pappenheim was going to get his own faction at one point for Pike and Shot. Don't know if that's still the case. But yeah, they were planning to make like Pappenheim his own sort of like HRE faction. At one point have like HRE and then Pappenheim HRE. But also Pappenheim, I think, is like more Bavaria. I think he's in the Bavarian faction as well. He's kind of everywhere. He's omnipresent as that man. He's a pretty major player in the 30 Years' War. Looks like, yeah, look at this HRE force. This is all that's left of their army if they pushed. This is looking pretty small, and it's without a general. And they're kind of being surrounded by the Swedes. Whether these units are just bugged out, it might be the case that they bugged out and they've routed. I mean, these units over here, they're marching away. They're definitely not bugged out. They're still just marching off the side of the map, though. These ones might have actually routed, but just have bugged out. It's quite possible that's the case. Or whether the players just forgotten about them, that was possible. Looks like, yeah, Swedish cav, this is coming from the reserve in the center, now shifting to the left flank. I did say this might happen to maybe try and support this flank, but it looks like they're doing it just to try and, clear it up nice and quickly. But this is a lot of Swedish cav now shifting over here. Whether they feel like they can just try and win this flank and then use it to wrap around the HRE right. The HRE is going to respond by sending forward their own arquebusiers, and also looks like cuirassiers as well. They're sending them forward. It's a thin line of musketeers here that's going to have to try and hold back this amount of cavs. 3 units. And there's also, I mean, there's other musketeers here that might also have to deal with the cav. The Gula musketeers in their yellow uniforms. And there you go, those Gula musketeers routed immediately, and it looks like the Roda musketeers are going to follow them shortly. I mean, they're pretty bad at these units. Cav in the center here, trying to make a little dash. Looks like a cavalry unit, cavalry regiment unit, maybe a light one. Try to charge through. Looks like it failed to make any sort of real impact. Pappenheim infantry, yeah, it looks like it's combat even. It's doing okay, but nothing too insane. Tupadel Dragoons here. And the Jaegers are still causing issues on this flank here for the HRE. And that's the 4-pounders going off the map. You still got Cav back here, like mercenary arquebusiers. What they're doing back there? I thought they were doing the Jaegers, but they're not really. And look at that! There you go. The HRE push through the center has happened. Arquebusiers here, and also I think there were the cuirassiers have been held back in reserve, but the arquebusiers, they've broken through, and they managed to they got rid of those Roda musketeers, and they kind of split the Swedish armies now in two. Which is great if this HRE army over here was in better contact, but it's not really at all. It looks like the Swedes are going to make contact here with the HRE. I don't know if they meant to, but the HRE look like they're going to rout immediately. Even though the Swedes, I think, are just trying to negotiate around them. You need to be careful. Bernard here is supporting his cav. Not a bad idea. But yeah, I think these units must be bugged out. Whether... hopefully the replay's okay, we'll see. They did use a whole bunch of different mods that I'm not so used to. But hopefully it's okay. But yeah, they might either bugged out or just rerouted already. I'm not sure. We'll see. They have just fired automatically there. Firing at the battalion staff commander. It was a bit odd. Here we go though. Cav now going in. Whether they're going to try and run down these guys. There's a fair amount of pikes here. None of them have their pikes out though. We are seeing stakes now being deployed. Looks like by Jaegers, and pikes are now coming out. So they are going to try and deal with them. And the pikes are going to retreat into this cav. I think this cav must be bugged out. But we'll see. They're running into the pikes here. Well, the cav's being run into. Not really. The cav's running into the pikes. We'll see if they break. Battalion, the Jaegers, sorry, are routing. I'm not surprised they're running into cavalry, but it looks like, yeah, these guys might be routed here. I think that's just because they're pulling through. But like I said, I think that could be more just a desync maybe, or just a bugged out unit. We'll see. Battalion staff going in. Turning into a bit of a grueling line fight. There you go. We've got pikes going in here, actually. It's a bit of an aggressive push here now by the pikes. Going against musketeers. I mean, musketeers do suffer against pikes in a melee fight. You know, they just want to use their sword, and the pike's like, nah. We're spearing you with a pike. I'm going to kebab you up. And yeah, these musketeers, these regiment of musketeers are redlining. So is the pike, though. So it could go either way there. The musketeers are getting charged here by cuirassiers of the HRE. They got right up to them at the cuirassiers. They haven't really gone into melee. Are we going to see a devastating volley right now into these cuirassiers? Surely not. Surely these guys are going to melee. I mean, they're getting hit a little bit here. The cuirassiers. I'm a little worried that these guys are going to be wasted in a moment, and these Gula musketeers are going to get the kill of the season. But we'll see. Back on that left flank with all the cav. Looks like they are starting to wrap up over here. Yeah, here goes the cav going in against the HRE on this flank here. Yeah, they are mass routing that HRE army there. That is no surprise. No General Heinrich is gone. And yeah, that is that army pretty much mopped up with the arrival of that cav force. So there you go. Now that cav can flank on around if it wants to. Same with these forces over here, really. We have, yeah, like units here. I don't know what they're firing at, but they need to maybe hold their fire and turn around and start thinking about the HRE force over here. There you go. Cuirassiers have now finally engaged with the musketeers on here. That is good to see. I was really hoping that they weren't going to be wasted. There you go, cuirassiers going in. They should deal with the musketeers, I'd imagine. And there is a bit of a mass rout now going on for the Swedes here, as we have the Vernier Cuirassier Regiment going in. They look like they're going to be trying to break through here. There's a lot of these guys that have been brought. Maybe they're the slightly better Cuirassier, I'm not sure. But they've been setting in quite a few of these guys of the HRE, and they look like they're having a fair amount of success. These guys are redlining on the musketeers. Another one here is yellow lining. So yeah, they're probably the brink of breaking through. Battalion staff is trying to rally them. That's kind of their job. We've got a rear charge coming from the Harkebus here, where this is a rallied unit that's just returned. Pikes here, look like they're winning decisively, but they're pulling out of melee. Good volley there, firing into something, routing those musketeers there. And it looks like, yeah, the cav is starting to overwhelm in the center here. Sweden really needs to get his own cav back to this front. And the heavies here of the HRE, yeah, it seems like they're having a great time breaking the Swiss, so the Swedes there, not the Swiss, that's for sure. And yeah, here we go. Now we've got the Piccolomini going into the back lines here of these pikes. I mean, if they just sort of just even touch them, I imagine they might just break these pikes. There you go, immediately broken them. And it seems like this Swedish army might be about to break, so we might be about to see the two Swedish armies swivel as, yeah, this force here then has to face off against the HRE on this side. We'll see. Maybe the Swedes will sort of rally a little bit. It seems like they could be a bit more aggressive on this flank here. They've got some tiny little musketeer units and some Jaegers holding them back. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of pikes and a decent amount of Scottish musketeers here. They definitely could push up and try to be aggressive here. try and get some reaction from the HRE. Yeah, I think we are going to see a bit of a push. We've got the Vestergotland pikes coming up. Here they go into the smoky abyss. There you go. It's death or glory for these pikes. They're shaking already. They are redlining. Yeah, they're not actually very happy at all. I think it's the Jaeger fire. The last minute Jaeger fire going in there. Yeah, wavering them. Shaken but not stirred. And they are without pikes as well. To go up against the Pappenheim Musketeers. And yeah, Pappenheim Musketeers do actually have the Bavaria flag. So yeah, it shows that they are really like Bavarians, not really actually HRE troops. They are more Bavarians. And there you go. It looks like the pikes might hold. The Musketeers might break instead, actually. Or maybe everyone's going to break, because it looks like, yeah, everyone's wavering in here. Here comes some Harquebusiers of the HRE, actually helping to rout their own forces here. And yeah, the pikes are going to stand. That is surprising. There you go. The pikes have succeeded in sort of breaking this sort of extreme left for the HRE. The Swedes have sort of fallen back a little bit. They've still got a pike just out in the 6 here. Don't know what's really going on with that. And the Swedes are, I was going to say, are slowly pushing forward, but they're not really. They're kind of chasing after all the remnants of the forces there. They need to start swinging around, sending their forces over here. The infantry is certainly going in this direction. As you can see, looks like they're sort of looping around. These guys should maybe push forward as well, I feel like, and try and help out. The cuirassiers here are also trying to clash with pikes. They've sort of enveloped the end of this flank, but it doesn't seem like they're actually having much success. It looks like actually they could rout themselves, the cuirassiers. Whether that's because they kind of like impaled themselves in these light pikes, I'm not sure. Yeah, the cav could do with just getting over. There's a huge amount of Swedish cav free, and if we could get over here and help out this fight, I mean, they're going to need it soon, because Sweden's about to get absolutely swamped with cuirassiers here. This is a huge amount of cuirassiers still on tap for the HRE, and the Scots are about to get charged here by cuirassiers by the looks of it. Might get a volley off themselves and then charge in. We'll see. Here we go. Yeah, looks like cuirassiers maybe getting one volley off. They'll fire there like handgun, and then they're going to charge in, I imagine. They're quite happy with the Swedish Musketeers. I think we're going to see pikes as well push forward to maybe try and counter this. Maybe try and break up a charge. But here go the HRE. In go the heavies. They're going to fly into the Scots here. Yeah, and that could be pretty devastating, I think, for the Swedes. See, confident, active, encouraged, flank secure. I mean, they're not too phased at the moment. I think both sides are quite nicely matched. You can see the pikes here, the Vestergotland pikes moving forward again, scaring off a fair amount of this cavalry assault. We are going to see a second cav unit, Harquebusier, going to try and back up this assault on the Scots here, try and split the Swedes down the middle. The Swedes are still being aggressive over here with the Gotland pikes and battalion staff. I'm going to see the pikes here try and, yeah, push back the HRE lines, it seems. They're wavering. And yeah, we've got some of the pikes starting to break here. Looks like Sweden maybe is going to buckle a little bit. The Scots are, yeah, starting to break. The Musketeers are. More Musketeers shifting across. Whether they could just side shot these cav units, I don't know. You could give it a go. But it's looking very up in the air for both sides right now. I mean, if we just like open the map a little bit, you can see, I think the blue is the HRE. They're kind of really bunched in between two forces of red here, which are the Swedes. They are, yeah, really sort of fixed in one sort of, like, if the Swedes can really, like, push up, they can squeeze the HRE. But, yeah, they've got to move quick, because this Swedish force over here is, yeah, buckling pretty quickly. The Scots are fighting on hard, but for how long, I don't know. But it looks like, oh, the cuirassiers might be about to break. That's some relief. The Harquebusiers also they might go, but more of those are now arriving. The Scots are also wavering a little bit. And yeah, more of these Vernier cuirassiers going in.
From the field.
And the general is in melee here. Pappenheim is in melee against the Scots, and he's routed them. Can he get these pikes next? We'll see. We'll see. Here comes more infantry for the Swedes. The cav is vacant. I don't know what it's doing. Whether these guys are bugged out, I'm not sure, but they need to get over here. The Swedish cav is on parade, you could put it like that. And it looks like the HRE is pushing forward as well. They're pushing forward. There's musketeers here of the HRE. Sorry, of the Swedes are just battering away, but the HRE sending some cav, trying to break up these Swedish musketeers. They're breaking more of them, and there is a bit of a mass rout now going on over here. Make sure it's not affecting the rest of the Swedish army. Because it can be pretty dramatic. You can see just mass routs take place sometimes. And Pappenheim is in melee. He's losing decisively, actually, in this fight. This could be a problem for the HRE. If they were to lose their general here in this fight, Pappenheim still losing decisively. Pike's combat even, seem quite happy. They might need some help here to help their general out, because if Pappenheim dies, they've got no generals left. Morale could pretty much be over. Redlining here is Pappenheim. Not quite at half strength, under half strength, but he's 25 out of 40, and there you go, he's routing. I think this could be the end of the HRE in a moment here. Pappenheim goes. I think these guys could have one more engagement and then possibly rout, because, yeah, Pappenheim, there you go. I think he's fallen potentially there. Certainly this Pike's just leveled up. So that might be because of the general being killed off. If not, he might be about to die. Yeah, Pappenheim down to 6 out of 40. And yeah, I think we could see a mass rout in a moment from the HRE. We will see. I think I'm going to fast forward a little bit to see what takes place. See where the HRE does line up with the Swedes here. I think they are about to. If you can see, they're sort of like lining up here. The Swedes are pretty much good to go. I think they've kind of got a bit of a V going on for victory here, with this artillery supporting on the side here, firing. Whether it still is, I'm not really sure. Sweden, yes, kind of held on in this corner. It's a bit odd what's going on there. Like I said, I don't know if it's just because the mods, or whether I've got them in the wrong list, or whether the replays is a little bit broken. I'm not sure. But yeah, certainly some of these plays have been a bit odd. That is for sure. It's only the only problem with Pike and Shot, it constantly is updating, so sometimes these replays can be a little bit defunct. We'll just fast forward again as we wait for the HRE, I think, to make its last march forward, or for Sweden to march forward to end the HRE's woes here. But yeah, a classic sort of lineup. These two factions often you see facing off against each other. Sweden, I think, maybe had a little bit of a rework, which is why it's quite popular at the moment. A HRE, I guess, is the historical rival, certainly for the 30 Years' Wars that you'd have facing off against each other. You can see, yes, it looks like it's a bit of a last source standoff here. I think I'm going to make a quick cut, and I'll come back to you guys when the next sort of like advance takes place, because it could be a little while, so I'll see you guys in a moment. So we are back, and the HRE has made a bit of a offensive, as you can see here. We have they've sort of tilted a little bit, and they've got their cav on their right flank now to sort of support here. I don't know what's going on with the Swedish army over here. I think it's bugged out, which is a shame because there's a whole bunch of cav here that's needed for the Swedes. But yeah, Sweden is, it looks like they're maybe just down to this force. I'm really not sure. I think they kind of, like I said, the replay's a little bit bugged. I think these Swedish forces back here are kind of bugged out as well. Maybe these ones that have retreated and broken, they might be gone. I don't know whether it's the map mod submod that I've got on. Not submod, but the new map mod is a little bit buggy for it. I'm not sure. But yes, Sweden is down to, it looks like pretty much this left. Like these forces left, maybe not even like this long line of Scots. I'm not really sure what they're doing. But yeah, HRE's not got much left, and it has no general. At least Sweden has got a general left. It still does have Bernard somewhere. I guess actually Bernard's all the way over here with this with this cavalry force. Just made me think that maybe they do have, these guys aren't booked out, but I'm not really sure. These guys definitely are booked out. They're just facing the wrong way. But we'll have a look. HRE now swinging in. Looks like they're going to go for the artillery over here. Going to get these cuirassiers to go in and maybe try and take out that 1-pounder there. Imagine having a 1-pounder gun. Ripped in pieces them. And looks like they might get routed instead. The guns actually might hold. These guys are wavering. Yeah, actually looks like the HRE is going to lose that fight. And the gun's going to hold. I think the Rhoda Musketeers as well, shooting it in as well, helping to break that cav. That's a bit of a problem for the HRE. They've got more, though. They've got plenty more cav that they can throw in if they need to. Throw in to try and win that fight. And here comes the HRE, I think, for one last throw of the dice. We've got the Tiefenbach pikes here. Lots of them going in. Tiefenbach? I don't know. Probably Tiefenbach. Probably butchering that name. I do apologize, guys. You know what? You don't come to this channel to see expert pronunciation. You come for glorious battles. And maybe some pronunciation. But yeah, some pikes coming forward here. Big units, still nearly 300 man per unit. Running toward, well not running, but marching towards these musketeers. Maybe they should be running to maybe try and lower the amount of losses they're taking. But yeah, these are some healthy musketeers, pretty much untouched. Most of them are like 192, 191. Here go the pikes, going a little bit quicker by the looks of it, maybe giving them some attack orders. But they're kind of going at a weird angle. They are wavering already. I mean, like I said, this is probably because they have no general. This one's pretty battered up. These two, yeah, I mean, look at that. Mass routing already, my gosh. I mean, they get point blank range, these guys. Yeah, I was going to say, oh, what? Yeah, look at that. 2 out of 3 already gone. 3 out of 3 gone, and I think, yeah, we're going to about to see a capitulation here of the HRE. Multiple units now mass routing. The HRE, you have wavering cav in behind as well. These guys might hold a little bit longer. It depends if they all charge as artillery and just get broken. But yeah, they are kind of just getting thrown back now of the HRE in quite a few areas. We'll see whether they go in elsewhere. Wallenstein as well also as the Musketeers. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got his own faction by the end of this mod as well. But yeah, there you go. You've got the infantry here, the Rhoda Musketeers in the back lines supporting, covering that artillery, shooting as the cuirassiers rout the 1-pounder finally, but are losing a fair few units themselves. You can see units are starting to turn around to deal with these musketeers, deal with these cuirassiers by the looks of it.
Glorious victories, huh?
Glorious victory is going to be there for someone. Wallenstein's infantry, you know, have some pretty snazzy looking uniforms, I won't lie. They look pretty cool. And yeah, we are now going to see a mass rout from the HRE. And that is going to be GG, I think. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, HRE starting a mass rout. That is going to be them off the battlefield. It's a pretty damn close one. I think most of these units over here must have routed. And actually, this is all that was left. It was a pretty damn close one if you really think about what actually elements are left. Sweden has got lots left on the battlefield, but I don't think it really did, actually. I think it was just this force here. Maybe this artillery as well with Gustav. I'm not sure. But it does look like, yeah, there was pretty much nothing left, potentially for the Swedish. And the HRE had not a lot left, but no general, which at the end of the day was their downfall. So I'm just going to fast forward now, maybe even just make a quick cut until we get to the end results. So I'll see you guys in a moment with the end results. So, yeah, unfortunately the replay did just, like, freeze at the end, but we pretty much got the end result that we were kind of expecting for it. It did seem as though Swedes were going to just go on and win it. Pretty much they just all routed, did the HRE, and then it just for some reason just froze. But yeah, this battle was set in by Zamnot, who was playing as the as I think one of the Swedish armies. So thank you very much, man, for sending this one in. It's very much appreciated. Well done to everyone else who played this one, if you did play this one, if you can remember. But yeah, this was a pretty fun one. I think it was set in by Zamnot, and I think also maybe Mortiso, Lycon, you know who you are, or Lincoln, played in these ones. So thank you very much, guys. Yeah, apologies about the end of this battle. It was kind of a bit broken, but sometimes that happens with modded Total War. But yes, if you want to check out some more glorious Pike and Shot battles, do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and a comment to show your support. There's some more appearing on your screen now. There's some very glorious Pike and Shot battles that are definitely worth checking out. But until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.